Pitch is one of the most fundamental words in all of music. Everything that deals with melody and harmony, scales and chords, starts with pitch. But it is also sometimes misunderstood, and often what we think of as pitch is different to its actual meaning. We might think of a note as sounding higher or lower than another note, but what does that actually mean? In this article, we'll go through everything there is to know about pitch. But first, just what is pitch in music? Definition of pitch. What actually happens when you play a note on an instrument? Whether you pluck a piano key or strum a guitar string or blow into a saxophone, that instrument produces a sound wave. A sound wave is just vibrations of air molecules that go back and forth, creating a wave of pressure that travels from the instrument, that produces the sound, and is picked up by our ears. The main property of a sound wave is its frequency, which is just a word for how fast the cycle of the wave is. Pitch is then how the human ear hears and understands that frequency. This is all a bit technical and mathematical, but just know that pitch is basically the frequency of a note. The higher the frequency, the higher the pitch, and vice versa. The lower the frequency, the lower the pitch. So, a note sounds higher or lower than another note if it has a higher or lower frequency than that note. You can easily see on a staff what notes are high-pitched and which are lower, because they are literally written higher on the staff. And the opposite is also true. The lower the note is written on a staff, the lower the pitch. Here's an example of notes descending in pitch. Notes descending in pitch. How is pitch measured? Pitch is measured mathematically, as the number of times a sound wave can repeat in 1 second. This number is then displayed in hertz, Hz for short. For example, a tone can have a pitch of 400 Hz, which means the sound wave produced by the note repeats 400 times in 1 second. The human ear can only hear tones with pitches between 20 Hz and 20,000 Hz, and almost all of the music you see and play would be between 50 Hz and 8,000 Hz. What is a note? A note is a pitch that has a specific name and frequency. Because pitch is a property of sound and not just music, any sound can have a pitch. For example, when you speak, your voice has a pitch, but you wouldn't say you are making music. Same when you clap your hands or clink a fork to a glass of water, you are producing a tone with a pitch, but it is not necessarily a note. A note refers to specific pitches, and in Western music a note refers to one of 12 named tones that all music is made from, the notes of the chromatic scale. Frequencies of C major scale in Hertz. But this required the notes to be in tune. If the note is out of tune, then it won't meet these frequencies.